Today marks the 10th anniversary for the Mass Effect series. The original game launched on November 20th, 2007 for the Xbox 360. It remained a Microsoft exclusive until 2011, when the second game was ported to PS3. Since then, it has become multi-platform, but its history of ports and its overall legacy is a bit more complex than that. First, as a brief overview, Mass Effect is a third-person RPG shooter. You can create a custom character, name him or her anything you want, but everyone will refer to you as Shepard, aka your last name. You begin as a simple soldier sent to investigate a phenomenon when you find out a fellow officer has gone crazy with visions of grandeur. You're blessed with these visions of the future as well, of an impending doom from a race of sentient, destructive life forms known as the Reapers. Their goal is to wipe out civilization. Try as you might, a Council of the Galaxy's races does not believe you, although you're eventually granted the power to investigate these disturbances with a crew of your own. So you fly around the galaxy looking into main story details along with getting new recruits, learning about them, harvesting planets, and so forth. Many have tried and failed to create a rich space opera akin to Star Wars, but BioWare succeeded with flying colors. Films have Star Wars, TV has Star Trek, and now video games have Mass Effect. But perhaps that is no longer the case, but we'll get to that at the end. For now, let's jump ahead to my origins of the series, Mass Effect 2. I didn't own an Xbox 360, so needless to say, I never experienced the original outside of videos and podcasts I found online. It always looked great, but as a poor college student, I couldn't afford to have two current consoles. Anyway, when this game finally released for the PS3, I was eager to jump in, and I was hooked from the start. Sure, I was a little lost, but I got the main gist of everything, again thanks to diligent research online, along with the opening interactive comic. Everything felt fantastic, from the character customization to the gameplay, world, story, characters, and more. It was a universe I believed in. It was one of my first reviews I wrote for Examiner once I started later that fall. There's a lot of memories like this that are associated with the game, which is why I think it's my favorite in the series. In many ways, even though it was the middle chapter, it felt like a quick reboot, perhaps retooled knowing a PS3 port was imminent. Regardless of which, it was leading up to the final confrontation with the aforementioned Reapers with Mass Effect 3. Longtime fans of the series since day one, aka 2007, had to wait 5 years to finish the fight, whereas I had to basically wait a year between the release of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Now, its launch was a bit controversial in the realm of its ending, so much so that BioWare actually released a patch to tweak the ending so that it made more sense, or at least appeased fans more. But for me, while weird, I didn't hate it at first. Oh sure, everything you did up to the end didn't really matter. It was the first big next-gen game saga to carry over choices you made 5 years running, which is no easy feat, so I guess that's why fans expected a lot more. But like I always say, it's all about the journey and the experiences you had. With that ending debacle, I expected the series to end, but to my surprise, EA kept teasing a new Mass Effect game at their E3 press conferences, but it didn't have a name for years. Then, finally, at E3 2015, it was unveiled as Mass Effect Andromeda. Even though it was just a CG trailer, I was excited. The years went on and EA showed very little, even before this year's release, so I was getting worried. Again, I can't say I was alone with that fear, and unfortunately those questionable doubts came true. The controversy surrounding Mass Effect 3's ending looks like a child crying over spilt milk compared to the entirety of Mass Effect Andromeda's launch. I don't know where to begin. I think I was pretty clear about my thoughts in the review discussion I made of Shay earlier this year. I wasn't happy with the game then, and I haven't touched it since. All the patches have now been implemented. I love this series, so I feel obligated to finish it, but now that I know it won't continue, I just don't know if it's worth it for me. Plus, there's so many great games this year and beyond on my back catalog, but it's so cheap now. I don't know when I'll cave, but I probably will at some point. I just can't believe BioWare would drop the ball so hard, but most of the blame can probably be thrown at EA. It's their attitude. I know they're a business and they have to adhere to their shareholders, but they're two-faced. They rush games and then come out with apologies to the public, confused about the whole situation. No guys, you know what you were doing. I'm sure someone said the game wasn't ready, but you pushed it anyway because money. Andromeda wasn't EA's only blunder this year so far. It all began with the game back in March, followed by a poor showcase at E3, then they closed Visceral, which was also tied to Amy Hennig's Star Wars game, and now we're in a mess of bad microtransactions with Battlefront 2 that they're still scrambling to fix. That company is a mess, and I don't want to soil this retrospective with that bad blood anymore. But suffice it to say, EA's year hasn't been stellar in the gamer's eyes. So yeah, it's a sad year for Mass Effect's 10th. Who knows if we'll see it again? If EA holds tight on BioWare, my guess is no. But again, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As I said earlier, remember the journey. Remember the good times you had with the series and forget the lows. Bad controversies will not diminish my love for the series, and it shouldn't yours. My name is Tristan, and you've been watching ReActionExaminer, wherein I do my best to create interesting videos to entertain and educate you fine folks. Be sure to subscribe, that helped me out a lot. And if you want to check out more, be sure to read my work over on The Gamer, wherein I write fun little listicles. You can also drop by my personal website, GameJerk, wherein I post other articles and reviews. All these links and more can be found in the description below. Thanks, and see you all next time.